Hi, welcome back to Hobtech Cars. Today I'm just giving you an update on my RAV4 project. So where I left it the last day, I had just essentially bought the car and done a few bits on tidying it up. Since I've last talked to you about the car, I have put it through for an NCT. I kind of thought that the brakes would fail on it, maybe the handbrake, things like that. So it failed for a little bit of rust on the sills and for a little bit of rust on the rear suspension. I didn't really want to do the welding myself, so I dropped it to a friend who's very good at welding, and I was thinking about welding the rear suspension arms. They had rusted through quite badly, and I think if I had welded them up, the NCT still may not have passed them and they may have failed the following year. So what I elected to do in that case was to actually replace these. So the NCT fail sheet for the car actually ended up being quite comprehensive, probably the worst NCT fail sheet I've ever had on a car. So other issues with it were the headlights were not balanced correctly. That was fine, simple fix, easy to do. One other thing was that the rear seat was loose, which generally is seen on a car that fails for an NCT for being loose. You know, it's 12 or 13 mil ratchet, just tighten it up. So the seats on the RAV4 are actually designed to pop quickly in and pop quickly back out. And one of the latches was actually broken on the seat, and they're a very hard seat to get your hands on. So I ended up actually just repairing that seat, and it took a little bit of effort. Oh, and the number plates, there was a set of TRD number plates that came on the car when I bought it. I absolutely hated them, so they failed me on them anyways, but I was glad to have an excuse to change them. So the car's been brilliant since I bought it. It has like over 220,000 miles, and it shows no sign of stopping. I suppose the only time that the Jeep has let me down since I bought it is that I had a weird issue with the SCV valves. These are like the fuel injector solenoids. It's a common thing to go on these D4D diesels. So how the SCV solenoid failure let me down was I was going uphill, and then suddenly there was a big loss of power, and the car couldn't really rev over 2000 RPMs. The car kind of struggled to do anything above 30-40 kilometers an hour. So in that moment I was sure the turbo had blown just because of the high mileage of the car. But thankfully one of my mechanic friends gave me a bit of help, and he informed me that the SCV failure is very common on these. So I drove it home, limped it home, and amazingly once I disconnected the car from the battery and reconnected it, the issue went away. When the SCV valve failed, there was no warning light on the dash, and there hasn't been since. So probably a job that I'm just going to do is change the fuel filter on this car, and I'm going to replace those SCV valves. I've already those parts bought. It's been about 6 weeks since it happened and the car hasn't let me down. I just don't want to be in a scenario where I'm kind of stranded. That's probably going to be a video coming up here soon. So the last few little jobs that I want to finish up on this Jeep over the next while are, there's a nasty rattle in fifth gear, kind of around 2,500 RPM. It comes from the rear trunk or the rear boot door on this. So all that issue is, it's the plastic in the rear boot door that's rattling. I just need to maybe put in a bit of sponge or tighten up some of the nuts and bolts back there. Finally, a thing that bugs me about this Jeep is that the rear door actually doesn't fully open on this. It's a safety feature so that your door doesn't hang out into the opposite side of the road when you say you're loading in crates or boxes or bicycles. But in this case it's just a hindrance because it just blocks you from being able to put stuff into the Jeep and take it out. So there's a common fix that you can do for this. You can just change the door latch and swap it over from a Daihatsu Terios for the same year. So that's what I'm going to do on that. So that's the quick update here on the RAV4 today. Thanks a million for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe. Take care. Bye bye.